Why not, eh? Why not?
Cool.
Why don't we just go? Mr. Friend, thank you very much for joining us.
How's it going, guys? Sunday evening for you.
It is.
These bloody clocks.
We were running 3 minutes late because Brian had to get dressed because he was standing nude for us on the camera.
You told me that was a requirement for this show. I didn't know.
That's a ploy that we do to all our guests.
Yeah. It's only men that go along with it, though, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
So, Brian, thanks very much for joining us. I don't know how much you know about the channel. You've really like kindly mentioned us a couple of times on your shows, which is awesome. The whole point in our channel and setting this up was
James Hobart's here.
Hey,
James Hobart's here.
All right, hello, James. Was to draw attention to elements of CrossFit in the UK, and basically get more people into specifically YouTube, but into the media space to absorb more media content in the UK, because we don't really do it that well. We, like, compared to the US, the numbers are poor. Like, if you walk into the affiliates around the UK, out of 100, you might have one person, maybe two, that even knows that there's this whole online space of podcasts and media and output and interest in and event coverage. All they know is there's a games documentary once a year that comes out. That's pretty much the extent of the average UK CrossFitter. And we think, all 8 of us that contribute to us, including Andy and Gareth from CrossFit UK, who are doing a blinding job at the moment for the last 18 months, of raising the profile and helping the affiliates grow, and community batters and systems. All the other contributors to this channel are frontline coaches who are, coaching people and are doing their job on the front line, but also understand the value of information, media, and introducing our community to that. So when John and I are thinking about people that we see in the media that are doing a really good job, and frequent our shores and come across and know some of our athletes that aren't necessarily the top tier, and understand the communities and stuff, you are one of those people that we thought really does understand that and ticks so many of the boxes. So thank you for coming on.
Yeah, my impression of the like fitness scene in the UK is that there's a lot of gyms. There's a ton of competitions, actually. I think there's seemingly low, like maybe like regional competitions happening almost on a weekly basis there. But it's an interesting thing that I've noticed, and it changes some country to country, but it feels to me like a majority of the athletes in the UK compete in the UK, and then also they go to Marbella.
That probably is about right. Or some of the higher ones will try and get to French. And that is probably about it.
Yeah, if they're good enough, they'll push to a kind of a semifinal level. But a majority of the ones that are just kind of cutting their teeth, waiting to get there, they'll hit the circuits around the UK. They might have one off. I don't know why. Well, I kind of know why, but huge amount of athletes from the UK go down to Marbella every early October, and then a little bit here and there. But this is something that's not that unusual in a lot of countries, is that there's actually these up and coming athletes competing that are just on the surface, and then maybe they break through, maybe they don't. One of the things that we have been hoping for with what we did at Be Friendly Fitness in the last almost 3 years now, is that by giving an outlet for competitions that are going to attract that athlete via a live stream, even if it's just a POV live stream, that it would encourage athletes, especially in Europe, to travel maybe once a year to a country adjacent or close by. It's everything's like kind of 2 or 3 hour flight, knowing that if they go there, that their communities back home could also watch, which is appealing to those athletes, get a little bit of coverage. And then you also get exposure to a different group of athletes from a different part of Europe. So you can measure yourself against them a little bit differently than just against your peers in the UK, for example.
And great point. And I've never really thought about that too hard, that particular point. So Jon and Stephen Rayner, who you know quite well now, we talk about this with our friend Steve quite a bit, and the competition side and how much
does Steve Fawcett, right?
Oh, no. Sorry, not Steve Fawcett. No, but he is one person I was just about to mention, actually. We talk about this all the time, and how much does the sport represent and increase participation at the affiliates? That's the question that I'm always asking. Is what we are representing in the media and at the sport, is that feeding back through to the affiliates yet? And obviously we had Briggsy won it in 13, Fawcett and Hesketh went, I think, the year 2015. We've had a few athletes dripping through over the years. We didn't, well, in 13 we went from, I think it was 105 affiliates to 400 affiliates in 2013, in the 1 year, which is also the year that Briggs won the games. I don't know how much you can attribute that to it. However, it may well be a coincidental. At the moment, we are fourth in the world per capita of number of affiliates on Earth in terms of countries. We had a huge uptake for the Open this year. Obviously, I think 6 out of the top 10 affiliates in the world were European, and I think 4 of them were from the UK in terms of numbers at the Open registration. The games last year, we had 5 athletes. I think it was 5 at the games and the Indies, if you include McGonigal, which I know she's Irish, but let's just have her.
You can just include Syria Mayha. She lives in London. You know,
yeah, exactly.
Honorary member. We'll
claim her. Yeah, we'll claim her. Just like the UK claims Amy Kringle, you know, although she's not part of the UK. I'm never going to drop that, by the way.
I knew that would. Okay, 6
she's ours as well.
Yeah. So we've got 5 athletes that are pretty much at the top level of the sport, and also go to, you know, Lucy Campbell, clearly one that we can't avoid mentioning. She did the trifecta. You know, she did Wodapalooza, the games, and the WFP. Like she podiumed all 3. Rogue. The Rogue. Yeah. So, like, she did it all, and we've got these superstar athletes at the top. The affiliates are booming at the moment, even though whether or not you believe the media about it or not, all you got to do is the data. And I can tell you now, the affiliates at the moment are rocking. We've got so much momentum. It's a great scene. How much do you think that the top tier of the sport does contribute and feed back into the affiliates, bearing in mind, I'm not sure about the level of media consumption at the affiliate level?
Well, I think there's kind of a 2-pronged thing when it comes to competition. And obviously the breakthrough athlete at the global level, I mean, Annie Thorisdottir a few years before Sam Briggs, and you see the residual effect from Iceland 15 years down the line. No doubt that Sam had a huge impact on that. And she's kind of, you know, even to this day, she stands alone in terms of the top end of her achievements within the sport for an athlete from the UK. Lucy may be poised to join that league pretty soon. We'll see. But, you know, I think that Sam undoubtedly had an effect. The media is another thing, and like you said, it could be a coincidence because CrossFit was really coming into their own as a media company during that time period. I think it was kind of the biggest years of growth globally as well. So the serendipity of that for the UK could have also led to that, I guess, nearly 75% increase or 300% increase, depending how you measure it in 1 year. But I think that competition is really just a healthy thing in general. And it's a kind of a narrative that I've talked about before, but you can bring this all the way back down to the affiliate level. When I was coaching full-time in an affiliate, I was constantly aware of what's coming up next for members. Like it doesn't matter if it's going to do a karaoke or a 1-day local 2-event comp in the gym or a Halloween party or something like this. But you guys being in the gyms know that, like, when there's something to look forward to, it keeps people coming around. And eventually, if they come around long enough, then they just don't leave. And that's what leads to a lifetime of health and fitness. A competition's an easy thing to get on a calendar. And it's also an easy thing for people to find a little bit of motivation to change something in their life that they probably want to change and have always wanted to change, but now they have a reason to. So with that date gets on the calendar, you might start eating a little less dessert, drinking a little less wine, sleeping an extra hour, doing a little bit more mobility, whatever, all healthy lifestyle habits that you're going to probably do for more than a month leading into the competition. It increases the likelihood of those things just becoming part of your norm. Drink a little more water, whatever, after the competition. So I'm a huge proponent of, not every competition is for every person, but that I encourage people to get out there and see what it's like to compete. Find a competition that's close enough that makes sense with your schedule that you can do. Maybe it's a little bit challenging for you. You're not quite sure. That's okay. And usually the residual effect of that down the line is not just good for you, but it's also good for your small community, whether that's your family, coworkers, friends at the gym, or maybe just people who are watching you that you have no idea are watching you, and they're curious about why you're starting to look a little better, why you're starting to, speak a little differently or whatever. Because if you go all the way back to Greg Glassman, he said it. I don't care what the 5 things you want to improve in your life are. If you give me an hour in the gym 5 days a week, and you're just a little bit more conscious of your diet, all of those things will change for the better. And they might not have anything to do with health and fitness. It might just be the way you treat people.
Yeah. I think that's something the UK scene actually does really well, is like opportunities for everyday athletes. There's, as you said, there's competitions enough every weekend. There was 2 this past weekend, a bigger one at the Arnold's, and then we had Glacier Games as well happening in like the same weekend. But there's literally competitions every weekend up and down the UK. Like Stephen Renner, Steve, we've got 2 people that host shows that put on their own comps that are accessible for anyone that goes to an affiliate. 100%. And I wondered how long it was going to take me to mention Hyrox in this show, but that is what they do. Twice so long
well. as Jake mentioning Amy Pringle and the Isle of Man.
It took less than 12 minutes. Yeah, it was. But that is what they do so well. It's like it's that date in the calendar, so people are bought in, and that I think that's what people need to do in the affiliates, is have that kind of doesn't have to be like anything big.
Well, and there's to me there's no limit. Like if you're a gym and you got 100, 200, whatever clients, not all of them are necessarily going to want to do a 2-day throwdown or a 3 workout 1-day throwdown. Well, now we have these different opportunities, whether it's Hyrox or Athex, which I just did, that I think started in the UK and is branching out across Europe.
UK-based event.
So you can appeal to different, people who have different time availability or different levels of commitment to things, and building these little classes. It doesn't matter that it's not all called CrossFit. We understand that. I think of it I'm starting to think of CrossFit more and more like the Catholic Church. And we're in the time period of the Protestant Reformation.
Martin Luther's there with his hammer and nail, and he's walking to the church doors.
In that part of Europe, there's pretty much one option. You do what the Pope says. That was CrossFit. That was, and it got a lot of people interested for a long time. But then again, people started getting wise to it, started to ask the question. The Catholic Church was resistant to change. A lot of these things sound similar to me to CrossFit. And then boom, now it's like every other month, or maybe even every other week, there's a new type of, not just, at first it was gyms, right? F45s and these different kind of HIIT things popping up. And now there's all these competitions, WFP, Athex, Hyrox, Xenom, Global Fit Fest, all this different stuff, turf games. So there's tons of outlets for people to go and, put that data on the calendar, and coaches or affiliates to help support them do that.
I was going to say, I think they've got a slightly different haircut as well from the paintings that I've seen of Martin Luther. Different accent as well. No, I do agree. And as a gym, we actually ran a Hyrox sim yesterday, a full Hyrox sim for the members that do go away, because we're on the island where Amy Kringle's from. Didn't know if I mentioned that. We want to give them the opportunity to be able to do those things on the island rather than travel. And the beautiful thing about a Hyrox sim is it's so damn simple. It's standardized. You know what you're getting in for. You can train for it, and it's a static event in terms of it doesn't change. Whereas obviously CrossFit is constantly varied, so you don't really know what you're going to get yourself in for and a lot of people at the gyms.
The middle road, how I understand it at least, is Athex, where they change every year, but then it runs the same for a 12-month period of time. That's kind of a cool in between.
Yeah,
without
they do
the gymnastics. Which, by the way, I haven't done an Athex yet, but I am full game and full send on the no gymnastics, because that is literally my downfall. I did the quarterfinal workout today with the muscle ups in it. I'm so fat at the moment, and like the gymnastics. If you take away gymnastics, I'm all right. So yeah, I'm game. But no, I was going to bring that up actually about competitions, and one of the questions I was going to ask was, what do you think the top? You don't have to say three, but I wrote down top three. What do you think the top three attributes of the best competitions have? What is it about them that they have that draw so much attention, keep people coming back for more, and just stay like legacy filled? What is it about them?
For athletes?
Potentially for attendees. Yeah, let's go for attendees.
I would say that, I mean, people put on competitions for different reasons. This is the type of answer that, like, if Andrew Hiller asked me this, he'd be like, just get to the answer. Don't give me the context. But it's like, you need to have a little context, because people put competitions on for different reasons. And we can just think about some big ones, for example, like Dubai over the years. They weren't putting on that competition to get 5,000 people in the stands. If you want to have 5,000 people in the stands, you have to prioritize different things than if you just want 20 elite athletes to show up and compete. If you want elite athletes to show up and compete, you need to have a good prize purse at this point, and you have to really make sure that the athlete experience when they get there is good from beginning to end, meaning that things are on time, well communicated, organized, they have space, they understand what's going on. If you're not doing that, there's enough other competitions that are doing those two things now that you're probably going to lose some of the top end. If you're just trying to appeal to the masses, like you want a ton of people to come and compete there, then you need to have a huge volunteer base. And so I think that one thing that is kind of a culture that we've had around competitions over the years that's not great is that, and it's so funny because we're a community of very healthy and fit people. But at competitions, it's like, yeah, you're just going to work 15-hour days, sleep 4 hours. We're going to feed you cheeseburgers and pizza, water. Yeah, maybe we have it, maybe we don't. And your back's hurting you. Well, we have 15,000 more mats to move. Like, it's like no consideration for just like basic human needs. I think if you want to have a big competition, you need to take care of the volunteers, and therefore doing simple things well, like having unlimited supply of water, coffee, relatively healthy food or good at food options, accessible bathrooms, a reasonable schedule are things that you want to prioritize so that volunteers want to come back. Because without the volunteers, you can't run these big scale events. It's my biggest concern about Xenop. Where are they going to get these volunteers to run this event? You already have a premium for volunteers at big competitions, and now you're going to insert 11 of these.
I think they'll be fine in the UK. I don't know how they'll do worldwide, but when we were at Rogue last year, when we were speaking to volunteers, we were asking them, are you an affiliate? They're like, no, we just seen this event and we just volunteered because we wanted to be a part of it. And I was like, you've never been to a CrossFit event? They're like, no, I volunteered at High Rocks and I loved it. And I thought I would just come and volunteer here. And there was people just all over Rogue, just they weren't CrossFitters. And I think those people probably left Rogue and are probably now part of like CrossFit gyms.
Well, the thing is with Rogue and the scale of Rogue, and obviously we hung out with your buddy PC, who gave my son football cards, what he still uses and carries around with him. So I'll be forever grateful for that. The sheer size and quality of the event was, I've never seen anything like it. It's the biggest one on our shores, obviously, ever. And I've been to a fair few over the years. The volunteers, every single one of them had a massive smile on their face. And you say about the basics, the fundamentals, the water canisters everywhere, the sheer number of like water canisters everywhere with taps everywhere for everyone to just take some, the organizational skills, the running around, the pickup trucks that came onto the workout floor to move massive logs, and the crew that were there. It was insane. Like just the sheer amount of volunteers there that were buzzing to be there. It was just incredible. And that's built on legacy. You don't get that a random year. You don't get people just showing up for something that they've, and there's so many different roles as well. Like I know the lady you're talking about, Jon, and the group, they were in the workout area at the back, obviously, the community workout area that we were.
They were.
But it's just so cool. And you're absolutely right, Brian. If they're getting the basics right, like timekeeping, How many small events get the timekeeping wrong because they're trying to impress people with complexity and briefings that take an hour long? And it's just, if you can build on simplicity, but impressing people with simplicity and just getting the fundamentals right, you can't go wrong. And obviously, it's their X amount of years behind them with Bill and Katie, and like Stanley's just said, they run a tight ship, but man, like everything they do is pure premium. It's just class. It's top tier. And you can tell that.
Yeah. And I mean, this is, it's a sensitive subject, but it's a reality, is that they actually learn from the games. If and I only went to the games for the first time in 2016 as a fan, and I went to work at the games for the first time in 2018 in some capacity. And by this point, especially by 2018, like the games team had really refined all of these things that I'm talking about. There was good food available. Everything was organized and clearly communicated. These are the like massively positive attributes of Dave Castro trickling down throughout that hierarchy over a series of years, when there was a significant amount of funding to back that up. And in the years since then, we know that that's changed. The structure of the company has changed, and they've had to kind of figure out how to navigate that. Rogue obviously is a super successful company. They have, tons of money, and their competition is largely a marketing event that does very well for them, especially with the placement right before Black Friday and Thanksgiving and all the sales, so they can roll out new stuff. And so they're also willing to spend money in that way to make sure that the things are checking those boxes. They have a super high standard and expectation that they can deliver on. Other competitions don't have the funding that the games had from 2012 to 19, don't have the funding that Rogues had for the entirety of their existence. So they have to really prioritize when they have a budget, wherever that money's coming from, how important is the experience for the people on site, for the volunteers in particular, compared to the outward presentation. And if you have to make a $5,000 concession on signage or on basic amenities, it's really easy to try to say like, well, we'll skirt the edge on the food because we want everything to look nice. But if everything's not so nice behind the scenes, then people leave there with a bad taste in their mouth and they talk. And people know about this community. Like, a lot of people know a lot of people. So I think, and I always encourage people, competitions, to really consider strongly the impact that you're having on the person that's entering your facility from the time they come there till they leave. Because that, like Greg used to say about people entering the gym, I don't need billboards. I got people. They come into the door at my affiliate, they have a great experience for an hour, and they leave. There's all these little standards. If you actually take the time to do the research of people who've been level 1, red shirts for a long time, of, greeting a person, saying bye to a person, asking them, like, knowing a little bit about their life outside of what their max deadlift or strict pull-ups are. Those things go a long way. And at the competition level, I feel like it's the same. That's why I asked. It's about, like, my friend Roger in Norway. He's got like five tenants for competitions. That's obviously the athletes. There's volunteers, there's spectators, there's brands, sponsors, partners, and then I can't remember if he breaks that off into also vendors, but whatever. And he wants every one of those people to have a great experience so that they want to come back. But even if they don't or can't, that they'll say good things about it to people because of what happened to them there.
We actually spoke to Roger about this at Rogue.
Yeah,
didn't we? Because we were asking him what he was like, what are you up to, and he was literally saying that is what he was there that weekend was like to learn, to take away, back to his competitions. Because
his whole company, Wadla, it's like workout of the day, learn and adapt, or something like that is what it stands for. It's like constantly, like this constant learning. And I met him in 2019 in Dubai, and ever since then, I've just see that he invests in himself as a competition organizer and a community leader to go and put himself in other roles in other competitions and then bring that knowledge back. Whether it's, a friend of mine once said to me, you can learn something from everyone, even if it's what not to do. So you go to a competition, you see something that doesn't work. Okay. This has been one of my biggest critiques about Dave Castro. He has walled himself off from the expanding global competition community. And I can understand that from a programming perspective, because he's still pushing forward. Even now, he's still pushing forward the way that we program. Maybe someone programmed a wall box step over at some point, but he's still finding these little nuances to insert that a large percentage of people can do in the open I guess he's not really doing the quarterfinals, but maybe we'll see something at the games. But I think that not making yourself aware of all the other things that are out there has also been to his detriment, because there's a lot of mistakes that he doesn't need to make anymore because other people have already made them. And they're still, in my opinion, making them at the CrossFit Games season-long level.
Yeah. I get that. And you see it with a lot of affiliate owners. There's a certain, I've done it my way and survived, and it's been okay. Why do I need to go away? And Farron, who does a CEU course out of Belgium, Holland. She does a show on here, the Coach's Corner, with myself, and I'm currently studying for my L3. And her word that she uses is curiosity. To be a decent coach, to be a really good affiliate owner and business person, you've got to have curiosity. You've got to be seeking out ways in which to be curious about stuff. Is what I'm doing right? Is it working? Can I do it better? And sometimes it's validation. Sometimes you look at stuff and, like you said, yeah, cool, I am doing it right. I am doing these things right. But what can I do better? And we do see it with certain gym owners and that kind of thing. And the good thing is about, the fiscal side of it, you get caught out. If you don't have a good product, if you don't put on a good service, after a while, you lose out because no one wants to use it and use your services. So those people that are curious and try and develop and engage and innovate.
Well, you said something at the beginning of that about because the original affiliate model was very, very much take the course, get a name, off you go. Pushing the baby birds out of the nest, figure it out. And what happened is many affiliate owners, the ones that survived, they figured it out. They figured it out in their community with their demographic of people. They found their identity, their vision, whatever they called it, and they made it work. The interesting thing is, because I already mentioned that I feel like Dave has fallen short in expanding and learning and growing as the competitive landscape has. On the training side of things and the affiliate side of things, I feel like CrossFit has actually done decent in this regard in the last several years. Maybe last 8 years, they've started creating a lot more resources that are available for affiliates. What I see is there's the very, very kind of top that are the kind of the red shirts level. And then there's right underneath there where there's this group of people that have owned affiliates for a long time and they're kind of stubborn. So they want to complain I've been around for a long time and now you're charging me more and you're not providing me anything. It's no, they're actually providing you a ton on the affiliate side now. But you're so comfortable with what you learned when there wasn't a lot provided that worked for your community, and you're not willing to remain curious and bring in the tools that are now available. There's so much resource available, whether it's programming, best practices, the best hour of your day. If you're, they are very good at finding ways for you to optimize or improve, or what's the word that we would seek, become virtuous, even if you're really good. There's a difference between being really good and being great. And so there's tons of resources out there now that CrossFit and some outside entities are providing for affiliate owners, that even if you've been around for 15, pushing 20 years, you could probably be utilizing those more than you are. And I do want to, people always like to highlight the negative things that I say about CrossFit. This is a very positive change that I feel has come from HQ for the affiliates in the last 6 or 8 years.
But Jake, you were saying the affiliate toolkit's absolutely massive now. And there's people you're in, but there's all the hardly any of the affiliate managers, owners are even using it.
It is crazy. So I'm the affiliate owner over here, and so I'm on a WhatsApp group. Do you have WhatsApp, Brian? Do you use it at all? You know what it is, probably. Yeah. I know it's not an American thing, really.
Man.
Yeah.
It's probably my number one way of communicating. I get because I have so many people that I work with outside of the US.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Not many Americans use it, but although it's a Meta owned, anyway, we're on a group and it's the affiliate owners in the UK. So it's the official kind of WhatsApp group of CrossFit UK. They will you get added on, and I have been absolutely stunned at the lack of knowledge base around what is available via CAP, the affiliate toolkit, the materials that are in there, the new coaching videos and blocks and training programs, and it is insane how much they have updated that in the last 2 years. It is incredible. It's what, I'm going to call you the Hammer now, right? Because you've hit the nail on the head. So your nickname's Brian the Hammer Friend, right? There are two people, very good friends of mine, that are affiliate owners, long-term affiliate owners, right? And their discussion around de-affiliation was, they've been added back onto the toolkit. They've looked and they've said, we've done all this ourselves over the last 15 years because there was a lack of it. So we've developed all these systems already. We don't need this toolkit. Like the toolkit, it's what we already have on our own. And so there will be those OGs, but the fact that they're still affiliated, they understand the power of having that name and being associated with it. You get all the value set, you buy into this thing, and you know, you get to use the name, and it does come with some credence. And there is so much on there on the back end. You could spend days, you know, fishing around there, finding stuff. There's new videos on there, there's new content for coaches, there's coaching development, you know, on there. It's really, really good. And I think what we want to do, so Farron and I are doing shows where we are actually just going into one section of the toolkit and exploring it and showing people what's available there, and hoping that some of the affiliate owners actually, you know, use it. Even if we get 2 affiliate owners that watch that video and think, oh, blimey, I've never seen that before, and then their coaching staff get to use some of the toolkit, that's a win for us, because we genuinely just want to.
If I was the self-proclaimed CEO of CrossFit, I would have this show on my channel.
Well, maybe one day you might be. Yeah,
not self-proclaimed, that's for sure.
But no, you said you were talking about the attributes of everything, and you know, Hyrox. Have you been to a Hyrox event and taken part in one, Brian? Have you been to one and kind of been there?
I think it is, I can't remember if it was summer of 22 or 23, maybe 23.
Early.
We did a Hyrox with a doubles with a friend of mine.
Cool. Did it run on time?
Yes, although they had a very big problem that day. We were in at Chicago at Navy Pier, and there was a tornado warning.
Heidi did that one as well.
Everyone was forced to clear the course. We were in the middle of our race, like 3 or 4 stations in.
Whoa.
And, you know, obviously there's people all throughout the course, and they had to pull everyone into the parking garages, which this is actually a testament to them, because like you said, this is 3-4 years ago, so kind of early on. Probably, you know, a lot of people have done Hyrox in the last 18 to 24 months probably. They handled it great. There's not much you can do at that point. You have to do that. You have to also have a contingency plan, and then you have to communicate to everyone, what are you going to do? And then you have to get everyone back onto the course, and then you have to deal with the 1,000 people that still haven't started, that are now delayed by X amount of time. And I thought that, given the circumstances, that they handled it extremely well.
Well, at least you know the people there can run away, I guess, rather than at a CrossFit event, they might not be able to. So, no, that's good to hear. But, you know, generally speaking, Hyrox events, they are always running on time.
They're like
you know exactly what you're getting. The environment is buzzing. You know, I've always said, like, we did one together, October. Was it September, October time? It was
end of October.
It was a nightclub. You know, it smells of perfume, Red Bull, and there's EDM going. It's basically a nightclub, like a Hyrox event. That's the German influence, I think. But the all of those fundamentals of what we've said about make a good event are being ticked. It's not necessarily the most exciting event for me anyway, because I'm constantly varied to the heart, right? But I enjoyed my time doing it, but I got everything that I knew I wanted to get. Every box was ticked. Everything was done, and done very, very well. And that's to its credit. So I think they might have scooped up quite a lot of people from that.
Yeah, I mean, to answer your question succinctly, you asked for 3 things. I think it's just one thing. It's the experience the person has from when they show up on site to when they leave. And you want to make that a great experience. So whatever that means for you. For Hyrox, it's a lot different actually than a traditional CrossFit competition, because if I'm doing a 1 o'clock race, I'm probably getting there around noon, and I'm going to be out of there by 4. So I got 4 hours maximum that I need to make sure that this person can show up, that they'll check in. I have people who know what they're going to do, where they need to be, what they need, get their stuff, should take them to the warm-up area, starting area. execute the race, obviously, have some kind of protocols on the back end, whether it's water, medic available, place to go when you're done, and then they're out of there. CrossFit competition is totally different. You gotta look after a person. If you're doing a 1-day comp, probably 3 times in the same day that you have to go through that whole process I just talked about. If you're doing a 2-day comp, you're talking about 4 to 6 times that you have to go through that process with someone. And now you're talking about, hundreds of people times 5 times that they have to come through. So even if you have, now you like the premium of experience per person is completely different. You could do 2,500 people in Hyrox in a day. You got 2,500 experiences with 500 people spread over 2 days. That's a lot bigger demand on the staff and volunteers to make sure that that person is having a great experience 5 times over when they show up at your venue.
Similar to the affiliates, we have them for 1 hour, and running the affiliate financially, it's a tough gig running a CrossFit gym because there's so much dead time if you don't do it properly. But you said something there about from start to finish. Early last year, so 2025, I'd become severely disillusioned with competition. And I don't mind saying that. I said it at the time. I'd sort of fallen out of love with competition. It didn't tick many boxes for me. I didn't get the buzz from it. Didn't really see the value. And Daniel Chaffee called me out on that. And he said, it's your fault because you're not going to any. And he said, come to the French and you'll see what I mean. And I was like, it's a big moment for me. And then I went, yeah, Sean loves his story.
Yeah, I'm Sean.
But at this time, it's relevant, Sean. I went along, and from the moment I got there, I landed at the airport. Ollie Mensbridge come and pick me up from the airport, dropped me right at the front of the stadium. Daniel came to greet me, brought me into the stadium, walked me backstage, gave my media pass. It was just the whole time I was like, when you walk in, I don't remember as a kid going to a football stadium or a baseball stadium for the first time, and you walk in. I took my boy to Liverpool last year to watch a match, and there's this surreal moment where this wall of just volume of people and noise and environment and enclosure all hit you at the same time, and it's like bang. And it's like, I am at this thing that I'd never really get to experience. And then you look around and it's similar to a football game or a baseball game. Everyone's wearing the same kit as you. And you're like, oh, okay, these are sort of people that like the same stuff that I do. And then over the course of the weekend, I got to experience so many cool moments, and I fell in love again with events. And I'll be honest, it wasn't much to do with the actual event floor. Like, it was cool, but it was all the periphery. It was all the people there. I got to talk to Greg for 40 minutes because he was there. I just hung around with it. It was such a cool experience. And from then on, I kind of fell in love with it again.
Well, you're talking about Daniel Chaffee, and if anyone actually knows Daniel or how he operates, the thing that I described is basically his mode of this is his apparatus modem or whatever that's called, MO. At his gyms, at his competitions, at any seminar he's a part of, like, he has standard operating procedures that are drilled into his owners, affiliate managers, head coaches, and members, and also to people who work at his competitions and who come back as volunteers and athletes year after year. Like, that's just is an expectation. He's been leading like that for as long as, I don't know when CrossFit Louvre first started, but like, he started there, then he expanded to competition. And so I'm not surprised at all. And I had the same experience at French Throwdown when I went there, is that they check this big box very, very well, about as good as any competition you're going to find, or gym.
And we're in partnership. So I'm the UK ambassador for Coaches Congress, which is down there. I think I was pointing at it. Daniel has been at every Coaches Congress for the last 4 years. He's keynote speaker from Madrid coming up, although it's not too far from where he lives. Actually, one cool thing about in Madrid in a month's time, they've got headphones for all the people attending. And they've got this AI system that translates the keynote speaker into their language. It's a really cool addition. But Henrik and Heather that own it and operate it, they have surrounded themselves, and I don't include myself with this, by the way, it's going to sound like that, but they've surrounded themselves with people that are that mentality. They chase excellence. They want the rising tide mentality. They want everyone there to be better. They challenge them. You know, they ask them difficult questions, but they hold them accountable because they know that by doing that, everything gets better, and it's going to be an incredible event when we go.
You know, one of the things I like about Coaches Congress, is that they seem to have just as good of a partnership with Mayhem as they do with HWPO.
Henrik's just, I don't know. I've not met anybody that could could say a bad word about him. He's got a great relationship with every single person.
I like that. I particularly like that dichotomy of HWPO compared to Mayhem, because there is this kind of narrative that, you know, Rich is the be all end all best thing for CrossFit, and he's been like it's beacon forever. And then there's these similar people that want to say that Matt Fraser is horrible. I mean, they're even harassing him right now for being harassed by someone in the middle of his meal and not wanting to participate in whatever's going on. It's like, I like that Coaches Congress has leaned into both of those entities, because if you can take your own emotional bias out of it, there's no doubt about it that what HWPO is and what CrossFit Mayhem is and what Proven is and what Brute is and what all these training camps are also massive pluses for the global health and fitness community, which is what I think is being lost far too much. And CrossFit's a different case right now because financially it's probably very challenging, and so they have to address certain things. But in terms of the media, I don't understand putting down competitions or putting down groups of people like that who are clearly doing positive things for the betterment of human health and wellness, which is what CrossFit should be striving to do at as big of a scale as they can.
And so, yeah, 100% right. And I think herein lies the problem, and this is kind of what I was skirting with earlier, is the media representation of the sport has always been, because it's a unique selling point of what we have, and it's the sexy thing, and it's really cool to watch and that kind of thing. But somewhere along the line, the media hasn't represented what the true cause of CrossFit, or the true rationale and the route forward for CrossFit is, which is longevity and health. You know, the whole point in this channel is called The Continuum. It takes pays homage to the Sickness, Wellness, Fitness Continuum. We understand that the sport is part of what we do, but for us frontline coaches, more so is the fact that we have this incredible methodology and thing that genuinely changes lives on a day-to-day basis. We see people completely transform their life, and that's why I've kind of shied away a little bit from covering the sport and speaking about the sport. Because for me, I know that it's a very, very, like yourself, like Jon loves it, Steve loves it, Steven runs it. Everyone else on this channel absolutely adores it and does it. And I think enough people do it already for me to not really need to contribute towards it. But what I think gets missed is just that we don't really represent the affiliate and what the affiliates truly do as much as I would like them to. So the whole point in this channel was to do that. And I know it's not going to get the views. I know it's not going to get the amount of subscribers. I know it's not going to get the clips going out and all that kind of thing. But I'll be honest, that's not what's important to me. What's important to me is just upping the game of the affiliates and making them these washing machines.
How long are those toolkit shows that you do?
They range from 40 minutes to an hour.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, like you mentioned it, like they're not going to get the same kind of engagement. CrossFit's doing something similar, right? They have the Sport of Fitness podcast and they have the CrossFit podcast. And I love that. I haven't gone and looked into the metrics, but I would guess that the Sport of Fitness shows get more views than the regular shows.
Just massively amount. Yeah.
But having them there is still good. What we've been trying to do with we introduced this new show on our channel called Fitness Under Fire is keep it to 30 minutes. Have a focused area of time. And I think that with the toolkit, you could easily do this because you have one thing and set yourself a time parameter that's very digestible, right? Like, starting actually tomorrow, we're having these interviews with the new Sign Pros or WFP come out. They're like 8 to 10 minutes. People can watch that, listen to it in a car ride. You can watch 2 of them real quick while you're having a lunch in the middle of the day between clients or whatever, while you're doing some ROMWOD or GOWOD, whatever's up there now. Like that's the thing that people can watch, 20 to 30 minutes. So I don't know how long CrossFit shows are, or these shows that you're trying to emphasize that are more like this, but I feel like 20 to 30 minutes, that's a super digestible thing for people. And the more people would be likely to watch them. They might watch an hour long on the sport. I don't know. But either way, I think that the long form podcasts are like, they're hurting themselves if they were looking for engagement. And what you're talking about is such an important thing that I think that trying to find that range where people are more likely to watch it would be like a huge plus for the community.
That is
especially if it's after like the live fact, you know, like live people kind of come in and come out as they're going about their day and they interact with the chat. But when you're not able to interact, I definitely think 30 minutes max is going to be what people like, the max that are going to consume. I do that with my Education Hub with clients, because I used to do these long form videos and then I would go back and look at the percentage watch and it would be like 60%. And they're missing so much information. And then now I just break them down into smaller educational videos, and they're still getting all the information, but their attention is so much higher now.
Yeah, for sure. And no, I think you're right though, 20-minute, because even though I might have the tendency to watch stuff for an hour or two, not everyone does. Okay. On that note, then let's think about the whole CrossFit world. So the whole CrossFit ecosystem. What do you think the most undervalued undervalued part of the CrossFit world is? Is there one?
Undervalued? I mean, that's a tough question.
Are we speaking mine sport or like?
I'll tell you mine. I think the adaptive divisions are truly undervalued in what they do for people. Their coverage is mediocre, and the workouts and the adaptions that were made for the Open were
abysmal.
I think they're undervalued in terms of the coaching development. I don't think there's enough done at the affiliates to do towards developing adaptive athletes, to making it open doors for adaptive athletes. I think that corner of the CrossFit sphere is underdeveloped, and therefore I think it's undervalued in terms of what we could do for people in the community.
But not even just adaptives, but people that are extremely overweight. Like we found that out when we were speaking to Athena this time last year when we started our channel originally. And I would have classed myself as someone that was pretty forward thinking in that regards, and then found out that I really wasn't someone that was forward thinking in that regards.
No.
I mean that I'm more in, both are good answers. I'm more inclined to go with Jan on this though. Like you hear the narrative, like how many people have come into an affiliate and lost 100 pounds, whatever. Like this used to be like some kind of thing or a benchmark or whatever. Man, I mean, I coached in affiliates for a long time, and if someone was coming into the gym wanting to lose 100 pounds, I'm not sure. Like I want to know. I don't know what to do. Like, it's like there's a certain amount of scaling that I'm very familiar with, and then there's things that are beyond that, and both of the things that you're talking about branch into that realm. And it just makes me like because Jan, Jake, sorry, you've already like identified that running a CrossFit gym successfully from a business perspective is tough. What's the level of resource that you need to invest to actually be well equipped to deal with people who are actually obese or disabled to the point where they need very heavy scaling modifications? And I'm not actually familiar with the total expanse of the toolkit that's available for CrossFit that you've been talking about, Jake. But I don't know how much is in there. What I will say is that this is an area in general that I've not seen great forward momentum change or leadership within the CrossFit Games specific season and ecosystem, is the evolution of scaling. From the introduction of the age group divisions, and I know there was some kind of nuance with the 16, 17-year-olds this year, but basically from 16 to 54, for the most part, like it's always been the same. And the expansion of fitness, whether it's in the affiliates or competitions globally, have made much more like gradient changes to the way that they scale for those demographics, understanding that a 17-year-old boy and a 28-year-old man and a 55-year-old grandfather or 53-year-old grandfather, these are not the same. They cannot be doing the same weights all the time and expect to get the same stimulus. So, I think that there's been for some reason, some resistance within whoever programs for the age group divisions to take a closer look at appealing to those demographics better. And that sort of maybe the fallout of that is also in the adaptive range. And I'm really curious about the obesity, because that's something that Greg was such a huge proponent of. And I don't know how well equipped the majority of level 1 or level 2 or even level 3 trainers are to actually deal with a genuinely obese person, let alone a class of them, which, I mean, Greg used to talk about having 10 people that were 350 pounds or more in his class at one time on a bike, watching a television about a nutrition program. And like, that's where he met them at. And that's what they did for 45 minutes was ride a bike and watch about what you should be eating.
And so we you're probably aware of Athena Perez, obviously one of your country people. We talked to a couple.
I know everyone in the US.
You know everyone. You know everyone in America. She runs Scaled Nation, which is a CEU. It contributes towards your, continue learning. And it is larger bodied athletes, so people that are morbidly obese. And she gives so much value to people. She works exclusively with people in that division. Having been someone that has been through that change and developed the systems, we spoke to her, and one of the examples she gave was how many affiliates have got like 12, 15, and 18-inch boxes for people to jump or to step towards, rather than just a standard 20-inch box. That's the first thing she said about. Second was, what's the weight limit on a C2 rower? How many people know that?
Which I only knew because I had a client that was about 400 pounds, and I was shitting myself when I asked him to go on a rower. And I was like, before the session, I was quickly Googling it to find out if he could actually sit on the rower.
And Athena listed like 5 or 10 of these points where we just completely overlook it, thinking it won't be a problem, because we talk from a point of like bias where we just generally work with people that aren't morbidly obese. However, like you said, Brian, for me, the low-hanging fruit in society are the morbidly obese people that we could get into the gyms and completely revolutionize their lives, and they will be forever a CrossFitter. If you want a loyal bloody CrossFitter, get someone, change their bloody life. It takes add 10 years to their life. They're with you for the rest of their lives there, and that's the methodology at work. And I think that's sort of lost along the way a little bit. And I think for me, the part of CrossFit that I'm geared up around, if you think the continuum, I'm trying to recruit at the sickness end. I'm trying to recruit from the sickness end and bring them towards wellness and then towards fitness. What I'm not so keen on at the moment, just generally speaking, is grabbing people that are already well or towards fit and developing fitness and elite fitness. I'm more interested in getting the sick people in, because we can make the biggest ground with them in the gym. And I don't know if that is valued enough at the affiliate level. Like you said, I don't know how many coaches develop or look to learn and are curious enough to think about that kind of thing. And the only conversation I've had about that kind of thing, funny enough, were with Athena, but also Coaches Congress. When Jon and I were sat around a table talking about this, it came up. Why isn't there someone here with a stall, a vendor, talking about how to recruit, these people, where to go, working with our NHS system, our GPs, our doctor surgeries, linking up with them, getting a throughful from there, getting people referred through there. It's all manageable and doable. It can be done, but the knowledge isn't there. So I think it's just a case of people are ignorant to it, rather than thinking like they don't want to do it. I just think there's probably an ignorance there and a lack of knowledge, and I think it can be done. Here we go. Henrik's in the house. Henrik says Dr. Lou Atkinson will speak about this at Coaches Congress London on October. Sneak peek. We get exclusives on this show, Brian, for being officially partnered with Coaches Congress.
There's another thing here that comes to mind, because I can't remember exactly what year it was, but I know at the games one year they had a feature that they were running about an obese person, male, that had come to, I think maybe it was still when CrossFit HQ existed in Santa Cruz or something similar to that. And they had like documented his journey and they were putting it out there.
Oh, was that Gary?
No, you're thinking of Kill the Fat Man. That was something that Sevan did. No, this was something more specific to like CrossFit that they were doing at the games. And but the thing about the CrossFit games is that they're who's watching the CrossFit games? Not the morbidly obese people. The people that are already in the gyms. Not like, you know, I don't know the metrics, but I would guess that 90% of people who watch the CrossFit games for any amount of times is someone that already knows. We had the chance. Like, this is another thing that I've been really critical of Greg and Dave for, is like that we were on ESPN, we were on CBS. If you're on those channels, you do get exposure to groups of people that don't know otherwise. Why were we not able to stay on those channels? Why have we not been able to get back to an exposure that's not just on CrossFit Games YouTube channel? Because how many of the people that you're talking about, Jake, or even that work with people that you're talking about, are going to watch the CrossFit Games on CrossFit Games YouTube channel? You're only going there if you're intentionally going there. You're not accidentally coming across it. More people are likely to see darts and people throwing sandbags into holes on ESPN. What is that? Why is that on there? Why isn't CrossFit Games on there on a platform where people are just going to see it randomly at a bar and be curious about it? And then you play that commercial and someone's like, oh, dang, my Uncle Rick could really benefit from that.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a CrossFit gym around here. They work with people like that. Like, that's what's been frustrating to me. You know, people think that I have this negative thing. No, it's that I just see opportunities for us to get the message out there more. And I see the regime that's in charge not doing those things for long periods of time on end.
Right.
And I listen to you saying this and I'm like, great. Yeah, let's talk to those people. Better yet, let's put the pinnacle of the example of what human health and performance can be, dovetail it with stories about somebody that you probably know that really needs help.
Yeah.
And then get it onto a platform that wants to showcase the best in the world, that can also drop our own commercial about people like you or a person that you're worried about, so that you can start to become, what's your word, curious about where can I go to get that solution, or take someone that I care about to get that solution.
The most recent advert that I've seen, and you're right, was the Panchik and Henry thing from a couple of years ago. Do you remember that? There was like a run-in segment during the Open. Scott Panchik was coaching an older guy called Henry that had I think it was a hip replacement or something like that, and he wasn't able to squat. But it showed the series of Scott, who is a games level athlete, as a coach and as a front runner, working with this older guy and taking him to be able to do a thruster, albeit with like a training bar, but still, like, being able to do a thruster, having been sedentary and unable to do that. That was a beautiful thing. And it stays in here because it was the outlier, because I hadn't seen much else based around that. And it was really cool that the synergy between a games athlete being a coach as well, by the way, working with a vulnerable person. It was great to see. And I think like you said, highlighting a problem is one thing, or highlighting development areas and one thing, but showing a route forward and actually driving change and do it, that's a next step. That's something that it's okay to have ignorance around something, but when you don't actually act upon that ignorance, once you've highlighted the fact that you've got it, that's a different story. And you know, we as gym owners and coaches, we see these people all the time. The biggest wins that we get, the biggest changes that we get, the most loyal people, the people that refer and talk about us and get more people in the gym. For me, historically, and from my experience and from other people that I've talked to, it isn't the elites that do that. They have their own appeal and they will bring in other groups of people. They'll bring in the 25-year-old studs that are at the gym getting bored. But where we get our biggest clientele growth at the moment, if you think about growth potential purely from financials, you've got a lot of over 60s classes starting now. And you can see where that's come from. So I think business wise, a lot of gyms are getting more savvy around this. And hopefully it's not just for the money, but we are businesses. But it's lovely to see that. And especially in the UK, every affiliate that I've heard from, Elliot Turner at the Project, my gym that I operate, all around the country. There's these silver sneaker. I spoke to a 94-year-old the other day called Drummond, who was the second oldest entrant into the Open this year. He's been doing CrossFit for 6 years. And it's his first Open, and his long-term goal is to compete in the Open when he's 100. Like he's so competent. He drives a car half an hour each way to the gym every morning with his wife, who's 88. Like they're living this really long, healthy life, and he puts it down to the community showing up, being surrounded by people like him, and it's really cool. Like it's this really cool thing, and I think they are the groups of people that opportunity now for us to grow and to get those 30 million or whatever it was, more people into our gyms. I think we need to start looking at different groups rather than the groups we've always kind of tried to appeal to. That's my take on that.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
There's a big problem though.
Yeah.
You know, the company of CrossFit isn't what it used to be, and it's not run by the same minded people that it used to be. And you said it, like it is a business. Your gym is a business. If you're not making money, then it's hard to do any of that stuff. And CrossFit is also a business, and it's hurting financially right now. People that own it don't know what to do. They're not gonna make their money back on that investment. So it's a really difficult time where like, there's all these potential investments that we could do. You got to have a little bit of potentially grace for the people that work there, of being not sure what the next 6 to 12 to 24 months look like, and not sure what the constraints of what they're allowed to do and what they're not from a budgetary marketing investment, compared to trying to save money and find different ways to make it. I think it's a really tough time to work for CrossFit, because I think there's probably people there that want to do a lot of this stuff, but with the private equity firm owning it right now, it's pretty tough.
Yeah, because the media they have been putting out over the past year has got significantly better, but it's, as you say, it's just there's not the right eyes on it. But how do they get those eyes on it without when
this is really it's a really hard, like I asked the question, like why would the games pop up on these platforms and then disappear from those platforms? I can only hypothesize. I'm not in those rooms. I've heard some stuff that may be true, may not be true, but there's people there that have been there for a long time that know the answers to that. I'm sure Dave Castro knows the answer to that. I'm sure Nicole Carroll knows the answer to that. Is there an initiative or an interest in trying to get it back there? Trying to get back to a place where we can put this out on some platforms where we might reach some people that we're not currently reaching. Because yes, Jan, the media has improved, but that media that's gone out for the last year is very much about retaining the community, because I saw Audrey asking about it, so that there's less de-affiliation, less people going otherwhere of the people we already have. It's like putting a fence around the people that are already here instead of opening the fence gates more to get people in that haven't been here yet.
So retention rather than recruitment.
And someone's told me an analogy that they have to do that because the boat is sinking. So you have to patch the holes and keep the people that you already have there without losing more of them before you can sail forward into new water. So that's just an analogy. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I can see it.
So quick one. They stream cornhole on ESPN. One thing I did see was the other day, hobby horsing. Do you know when people go on like a fake horse? Have you seen them? There's like a horse's head with like a stick, and they pretend to ride it and they jump over.
Okay. I've seen this.
Yeah. They had 87,000 live viewers on YouTube last week.
What?
There were 87,000 people watching hobby horsing live on YouTube, like the world champs or whatever it was. And I'm sat there thinking, this is hobby horsing. Let
me ask you a question about hobby horsing. How long does the competition take?
Well, the competition's all day because they got all different age groups. They got different.
Jake watched it for 9 hours.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah, I was there.
Let's say it's the world championships, the best athletes. How long does their competition take?
Oh, blimey. Yeah, probably not 5 days.
So you see what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
All consumable sports are in a 2 to 4 hour window.
Yeah.
You're going to watch a football match in the US or in the UK, however you spell football, a basketball game, a hockey game, golf, whatever. Like there are these 2 to 4 hour windows, everything.
Yeah.
Not CrossFit. Very hard to watch a full CrossFit competition if you have other stuff going on in your life.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I've just been waiting for someone to like create a competition where there can be stuff going on all day on your venue, different divisions, whatever, like a 9-hour thing. Okay, well, if you have the youth are going for 2 hours in the morning, and then the young adults, and then the seniors, and then the pros at night, and it's like these 4 2-hour blocks. Okay, that's still, you can break them up. I want to see the elite competition that has a 2-hour win. Like Dubai did this 2 hours, 2 to 4 hours on Friday night. Same thing on Saturday night. 3 hours Saturday afternoon. Boom, 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 done. Digestible. And put some post-production around it that's even less than that. Take that 3-hour window, hire a great videographer. There's tons of them in our space right now, and pare it down to something that's 45 minutes. I mean, you can watch a Premier League match in 15 minutes on YouTube. They'll just cut all the fat out, and you get the meat of the action from beginning to end, with all the red cards, all the yellow cards, all the goals, all the assists, all the cool plays. 15 minutes, you can watch it and leave with an understanding of what happened. Those are 2 things that I think that we could be progressing towards with the best competitions we have. Condensed windows of competition, and then post-produced stuff that's even easier to watch than that.
Yeah, I do like that. I mean, Jon and I both coach and compete sometimes in powerlifting and weightlifting. And we have the different weight divisions, you have the different sexes, you have the different like age groups. And a competition like the British Nationals goes over 3 days in May, and they do live coverage for each flight. So each age group and weight division is clearly labeled, and it might be an hour long for the squats, and then it cuts, and then you know exactly where you've been, what you're doing, and what you're watching. I mean,
you guys know this. Even masters athletes, if you told them, hey, we got 3 workouts and you're going to do them over the next 2 hours, they can figure that out.
I think especially masters athletes, because I've watched my mother-in-law doing the quarterfinals over this weekend, and the killer for her is the recovery over the course of the couple of the day between, the warming up again, all her mobility she has to do. She's 68.
Well, and now think about this other thing we were talking about with competitions. You want someone to travel to your competition? Don't keep them there all day. Rich Froning said this after Wodapalooza in 2021 or 20, whatever year they ran. One of them they didn't. He goes, "It's ridiculous, man. I brought my family down here to Miami in January, and I got to compete at 8:30 in the morning, 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and 7:45 at night. Give me 3 workouts in the morning and let me enjoy the day with my family."
He's got a point.
Competitions could do this everywhere. Schedule whatever. Pick a division, teams. Okay, they're going to go from 8 to 10:30 a.m. Nothing's happening for 30 minutes. 11 to 1:30, masters athletes of this group are competing. Nothing's happening. 2 to 4:30, this group's competing. Done. 5 to 7:30, the pros are competing. That way, it checks all these boxes. First of all, this is how people train. Warm up, do something intense, 20 minutes, recover, whatever. Do something intense, 20 minutes, recover, do something intense. See you later. I'm going to go. Now what am I going to go do? Recovery. Take a bath. Get some good food, get whatever.
Yeah, well, that is what AFX is like.
Yeah.
Right. But this is like, now you want to do multiple day competitions. So give someone, like we talked about with Hybrox, you want to take care of them for 4 hours or for 12 hours?
Yeah. Why do you think it's a case of, well, we've always done it, we'll continue to do it?
Yes.
That's what it is, right?
And it's also like
you're keeping everybody there all day with vendor village, with like stalls, with it's the spectator experience over the athlete experience.
But like Brian said, if they're done in the first 3 hours, they get to just chill and relax, and you're more likely to spend money if you are chilled and relaxed over the course of an afternoon or in the morning when you're not competing. And also, if you've got a group going for the first 3 hours, another group for another 3 hours, another group, you have got that consistent flow in the vendor village, but you've probably got more time to relax rather than thinking, oh shit, we got to dart off because we got a workout in half an hour that you haven't warmed up for.
They're thinking about keeping the spectators there from morning till night because they want to see the elites going. If you put the elites on between 5 and 9, what's the likelihood, apart from people that are there like watching their friends or family members?
I mean, so I'm going to say, hey, we're going to get, I'm not going to go there in the morning to watch the teenagers. I'm not going to go there to watch the teams, but competition starts at 5. let's get there at 3. Let's see what food's going on. Let's check out the vendor village, whatever. We'll go to our seats. Whatever. I mean, people still make a day of it, and
Yeah.
But yes, Jan's not wrong. There's other aspects of competition have to be considered with the way that you structure it, but the layout can matter. When you show up, is it something like fans go this way and athletes go this way, or is it everyone funnels through the vendor village, or is there, you can funnel them out through vendor village? You can be creative in different ways.
So, okay, this is a massive question, and there probably won't be like time to answer it all. 5 years from now, what is the biggest change to our world in terms of CrossFit, the CrossFit world? What's the biggest change that you would love to see in the CrossFit world in 5 years' time? I think 5 years is enough to develop, to innovate, to change, to establish, and to have something. So what do you see as the biggest change that we can have in 5 years from now?
I would say finding ways to get meaningful content, which I would say is a balance between a lot of the different stuff we've talked about, on platforms where people who aren't coming to find it can find it.
Okay, cool.
I mean, you said, we could talk about this forever, but I think that's where my mind goes, whether it's a sport or the health side or the specific demographics of people that we know we can help, that we aren't really reaching right now. Okay. How do we get those onto channels that are not already full of people who want to see that happen?
Cool. I've got a statement, and I want to know if you agree with me or disagree with me. The biggest influencers in CrossFit are the affiliate owners.
The biggest influencers? I don't disagree with that, but there's
context.
Some of these questions you've asked me are like
open.
No, just that I'd love to just have a chance to think about them a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Undervalued one, this one.
I want to while you're thinking, I want to say I disagree with it, but in a way, they should be, but they're not. On a global scale, they're not, because obviously the people at the top of the tip of the spear are the ones that are the biggest influencers, but they're not driving people.
Well, this is the way that I think about it when Jake says that. I come back to that thing we talked about, the person being the walking billboard. And so then this goes back to the Daniel Chaffee example of if you're the affiliate owner and you're creating a culture that is going to be appealing to anybody who comes in, then anybody who goes out should be speaking positively about it. Same with the competitions that we've talked about, whether they're a spectator, offender, affiliate, fan, or whoever, that the athlete that comes in, we want them to have a good experience so they leave and say good things about it. But on a daily basis, the affiliate owners have a chance to do this with people who've been there 10 years to 10 days. And then each one of those people can go out. So I think, because I was going to say kind of, well, no, I think the members are, because they're the mouthpieces. But if you want to take it one step higher than that, Jake, and say, well, the members' experience is dictated by the culture that the affiliate owner creates, then I could see where you have a good argument.
Yeah, I think that's how it should be.
Yeah, again, this is all obviously hypothetical and very subjective. But I think the biggest bang for your buck in your local community, if you wanted to spread CrossFit in your local town, village, city, whatever it might be, who has the biggest amount of influence and power to change perceptions, to implement change, to recruit, to get more members through the door, to change lives? For me, it's the affiliate owner. That band within CrossFit of affiliate owners, for me, they have the potential, and that's the little asterisk to this, rather than the biggest influence. They have the potential as a group to be the biggest influence, because they implement the change. It's up to them. If they don't do their job and if they don't implement the change, all well and good HQ telling people what to do. HQ can't do shit if the affiliate owners aren't doing it. And we've seen that over the last year and a half. the members can't do anything if the affiliate owners aren't affiliate owners and they don't open the gym doors. So the affiliate owners are that group, that band of people that connect all those strings coming in to make this thing bigger. And the influencers online, so the people that have got 1 million subscribers on Instagram and everything like that, they can't have influence with CrossFitters at members level if we don't have the affiliates. The affiliate owners are the ones that do that. And I found the disengagement over the last 18 months has come a lot of the time, because we don't really have much media absorption in the UK. The disengagement at the affiliate level has come from burned out affiliate owners that aren't really interested anymore, or they get reluctant to do things, or they saw the $4,500, pay, and they thought, fuck it, I can do this on my own. A lot of them are coming back now. But I just think that band of people, one group of people that have the most amount of influence and can make the biggest change, are the affiliate owners. And that's my defense for that statement. However, I can totally see why people would, put investing in other groups and saying that they were. Just, yeah.
They're at the ground level, affiliate owner is not going to get 1 million followers on Instagram, or probably even 10,000 followers on Instagram, but they are the person in the community who has a chance to create something that spreads throughout their communities. And those, if you add up those across the country or across the continent or across the world, that's where that kind of, ant tunneling system can happen.
Yes.
The athlete that has tons of success and notoriety worldwide, you're right. They can be inspiring someone to go to a gym, but if there's no gym to go to, then they can't go.
Yeah, just a thought. Anyway, Ryan, thank you very much for coming on. I know you're a very busy man. Where are you flying to next? What's the next job for you?
WFP London. I'm 50-50 if I'm gonna go to Mayhem Classic. I'm probably gonna make that decision the week of, depending on how prepared I am for WFP.
Cool. Well, I will be there, so we can meet in the flesh. Oh yeah, good question, Henrik.
I also have flights booked, but I mistakenly have double booked myself, so I might be there for the first 2 days and then need to leave the last day because I'm flying to Greece on the last day of competition, which was a surprise. Wasn't a surprise to me, but it was a surprise to me.
Well, it'd be great to meet you guys there, and we'll try to treat you as well as Daniel did.
Oh, Patrick's already. He's already.
You don't want to know what Daniel did as well. So
I know Daniel. He's giving me the treatment as well.
Oh, good. Oh, I feel. Oh, that's a shame. He told me I was special. Anyway, I'm looking forward to meeting you in person at London. I can't wait to see WFP. I'm really looking forward to it. And I can't wait for that. So it's not actually that far away now. It's the weekend after Madrid Coaches Congress.
No. Oh, Madrid Coaches Congress. Yes, I was going to say. I think it's a month before Madrid.
You should see if the powers that be will fly you out to Coaches Congress on the 3rd and 4th of October at Twickenham, because it's going to be a special one.
Yeah,
that's the one that's worth being at. Let me
Roger and who was the other chap that was there from WFP? He's the media guy. He's your friend, Brian.
Hanu.
That's him. Yep.
Yeah, they were at Coaches Congress Twickenham last year. But yeah, no, it's an incredible event, and what's in store this year is going to be insane. So yeah, it'd be lovely to.
I marked it down on my calendar as a possibility. It's
buddy, that's concrete.
It's a weekend before Oslo Throwdown,
so
I could potentially stack those trips. It's a weekend after Wodapalooza SoCal.
Okay, well, that doesn't matter, that one. Lovely, you can ditch that one. But Brian, thank you very much for coming on. You've been a great guest, and we can't wait to have you again sometime soon.
Just let me know.
Yeah.
It's great what you guys are doing.
Much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for listening and being in the chat, and we'll see you again very soon. But for now, bye-bye.